When I woke up, there were muddy footprints leading from my bed to the front door, and I live alone. It took me a second to process what I was looking at. The tracks started just a few inches from where I'd been sleeping, clear prints of bare feet smeared with mud. They trailed across the hardwood floor, past the living room, and ended at my front door. I sat up, heart hammering, and tried to convince myself it was a prank or a mistake. Maybe I'd tracked in mud earlier and just didn't notice. But as I followed the trail, something about it didn't add up. The prints weren't mine. They were too large, and the spacing between them was wrong, like whoever or whatever had walked through my apartment moved with long, deliberate steps. My feet were clean, and there wasn't a speck of dirt in the bathroom where I'd showered before bed. By the time I reached the front door, I was trembling. The chain was still latched, the deadbolt in place. No one could have come in or out that way. I checked the windows. Locked. My apartment was on the 3rd floor, and there was no fire escape. I felt a wave of nausea as I realized what that meant. Whoever had left those prints was still inside. I grabbed the heaviest thing I could find, a metal lamp, and crept through the apartment, checking every corner, every closet. My pulse thundered in my ears as I swung the bedroom door open, half expecting someone to be standing there. Nothing. I checked the bathroom, under the bed, even the cupboards. Every place that could hide a person was empty. But the prints were real. They were drying now, turning flaky and faint, but they were unmistakable. I tried calling the building manager to come up, but my phone wouldn't dial out. No service, even though I usually had full bars in my apartment. That's when I heard a soft creak from the hallway, the kind wood makes when it's stepped on. I froze. The sound didn't come from the main hallway. It came from inside the closet. The closet I'd already checked. My hand gripped the lamp tighter as I edged toward the door, every nerve in my body screaming to run. But I couldn't leave, not without knowing. I reached out, my fingers trembling, and yanked the door open. Nothing. Just coats and an empty shelf. I laughed nervously, but it didn't feel right. Something wasn't adding up. As I turned to leave, I noticed a faint draft of cold air coming from the back of the closet. The wall wasn't a wall at all. It was a false panel, slightly ajar. Behind it was a narrow, dark passage. I didn't go in. I couldn't. I slammed the panel shut, shoved a chair under the doorknob, and left my apartment that night, leaving the footprints and the mystery behind. When I told the building manager about it the next morning, he looked pale. That unit was supposed to be sealed, he said. No one's lived there since the incident. What incident? I demanded. He hesitated, then said, the man who used to live there, he was evicted years ago for sneaking into tenants' apartments through the walls.